Everybody, BK with Masada Tactical here with another video. I want to start by thanking all our viewers and followers. We reached our 5,000 followers mark, and that is huge. So thank you all. As always, if there's anything that we can provide as far as content that you would like to see, just let us know. Obviously, I'm holding a pistol and magazines in my hand, and today what I want to cover is how to do a proper pistol reload, magazine reload, if I have to. Right? So before we even start, just from a safety standpoint, so you guys can see I have a pistol with an empty chamber, so no live ammo. I have 2 magazines with nothing in them, and I'm going to use 1 dummy round for my reload, just so I can cycle the slide once I put it in. So let's begin by discussing why do we even cover a weapon or magazine reload. The reality is that my pistol is going to carry 15 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber, making 16 rounds. And if I get on the civilian side of my world, right, if I get into a confrontation where I have to fire more than 16 rounds, that's a really bad day. That means my tactics were not sound, that I am engaging in an event that's probably not suitable for civilian engagement, right? And I'm stressing civilian because for the law enforcement or military world, that's a completely different context. They may have to expend that many rounds and more depending on the type of event they respond to, right? But in the civilian world, we're talking maybe an active shooter, active assailant type incident where we're dealing with 1, maybe 2 assailants, home intrusions, right? A real violent kind of crime that's taking place in our vicinity. At the end of the day, that is why we carry a pistol on our daily basis, right? So if I need to reload that magazine, it's probably not because I need more rounds. More likely than any, it is because I have some sort of a malfunction, and I can go through my regular malfunction clearing processes, but really the quickest way for me to get this gun back up and running and eliminate as many of the variables that potentially cause that malfunction is by dropping the 1 mag and putting a fresh one in, and that would eliminate any potential issues with ammunition or even a faulty magazine, right? That would just solve all of that by putting a fresh magazine in and getting back in the fight. So let's get into the actual tactic. First of all, the way I carry my spare magazine. We always recommend you carry a spare magazine, obviously for reasons mentioned beforehand, okay? A lot of Western shooters, American in particular, like to carry them with that round loaded, what we call forward, so it's pointing forward. I carry it loaded backwards, and the only reason I do that is because it's consistent with the way I would carry my rifle mags, right? Even Americans that carry their pistol mags loaded forward still carry the rifle mags loaded back, and I like consistency. So for my benefit, all of my mags, depending on my weapon system, because I'll go through the same process, whether it's a pistol or a rifle, right? It's always the same. So either way is valid as long as you train in the way that you carry, because the presentation is going to be slightly different depending on the orientation of that round, right? So just make sure that whichever way works for you, you keep training in that manner. I'm going to use my pocket today. I will be the first one to admit that is not ideal. You do want a dedicated magazine carrier for your extra mag. Honestly, in the civilian world, I oftentimes just throw one in my pocket for simplicity. It's honestly just complacency and getting a little lazy as I am running out the door. I will still have my extra mag. It may not be in a dedicated carrier. There are a lot of manufacturers out there that make holsters that have a dedicated extra mag, a caddy attached to it, and you can carry it all on you. Minimal amount of space required, and it's certainly a good solution, so you should look into those. All right, I'm gonna start today with my slide lock to the rear, okay, simulating that I did get a stoppage due to I ran out of ammo. The process is gonna be the same if I have any other kind of malfunction, short of a double feed or a stovepipe, right? But any event where I pulled the trigger and it went click instead of bang, which means I did a drop of the either hammer or striker, but nothing happened, right? So in those events, the process is going to be the same, whether my slide is locked to the rear or if my slide is forward and it just didn't fire, right? So I'm going to do the same process. Again, I'm going to start in this position just so you guys can see what's going on for simplicity of teaching. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to drop that magazine. I do want my magazine well working with gravity, so I want it facing down. I am known to add a little flick to my movement, a little bit of flair. Done correctly, it does add momentum and facilitates the extraction of the magazine. Done incorrectly, it would actually get in your way. So don't spend too much time on that. The most important part is that I am vertical to where the magazine would drop freely when the magazine release is depressed. If I bring the magazine towards my face to what we call a work area, and I did not depress the magazine release in time, that mag is not gonna drop. I am fighting gravity instead of working with gravity, right? So just make sure that whenever you decide to start that reload process, that magazine well is facing towards the ground. I'm gonna bring the gun towards my workspace, as I mentioned. This is an area where I can still see the gun in my periphery without losing sight of my threat, right? The worst thing I wanna do is take a look at my gun, maybe even the magazine, do all of this and come back and like, oh shoot, where did my bad guy go? That'll be a very bad feeling and I don't want that happening. In a real event, I obviously want to get behind cover, at the very least move laterally and vertically, change my plane, so if I am taking fire, I'm not just standing in the middle as an open target. So I'm gonna drop the magazine and bring the gun to my workspace. My support hand is already gonna reach for that spare mag. I use an index finger as an indicator. It just facilitates me getting close to the magazine well area. I may be missing a little bit, but I'm gonna be close enough. When people just grab it like this and try to jam it, they're gonna be all over the place. That finger does help. I'm gonna bring it in and I'm gonna make sure it is well seated. Okay, one of the reasons why we have malfunction is if the magazine is not well seated and I'm not actually cycling around into the chamber. I'll make sure it's well seated. I do not honestly care how you get that round into the chamber, whether you use the slide release, whether you copy, or the way I do it where you use a slingshot movement. But now I have a round chambered and I'm ready to get back in the fight. One more time, a little bit quicker so you guys can see what happened. Again, slide is back to the rear. I have a malfunction. I am releasing one mag as the gun is coming into the workspace. I already grabbed the second mag with my support hand using my index finger as an indicator, fitting it in and getting back to work. I hope this helped. Keep practicing it. It's one of those skills that is super easy to do dry work at home. Okay, get a lot of practice in, get really comfortable with it. Honestly, as we said, the reality in the civilian world is that you're not gonna have to do too many magazine or pistol reloads under stress in a real event. But the one time that you need or want to do it shouldn't be the one time you think, I should have practiced how to do it correctly. Time is a luxury you do not have under stress, and you certainly want to become proficient with the skill set in advance. As always, follow us on social media, subscribe to our channel, please. Let us know if there's any questions, anything that we can answer and give you more information either on the self-defense side or on the tactical side. We'll be more than happy to share more videos with more content. Until the next time, watch your six.